If something is in your wish list, that is not budgeting. That is just a dream. It's not part of budgeting. Budgeting, you allocate funds. Welcome to Friday Finances with Mr. Msibi. In today's episode, we are going to be dealing with a serious obstacle that a lot of people are starting, but they are unable to finish it. For some reason, they start and finish. It's exactly like going to a gym. Some people in the New Year's resolution, they'll be like, yeah, I'm going to the gym now, but come February, they quit. You guess it right. We are dealing with budget. Oh my God. I have no idea why people are struggling with budget. So we did a poll when we were asking around as to why people are not saving. So the most common answer that came out was that I do not budget for it. But then it came to my mind when I was still continuing with my research that no, it's not the issue that you do not budget for it. It's the issue that you do not understand exactly what is budget and how to budget properly. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. The way we define budget is an allocation of funds. Now, there are so many definitions that are given out there. My best friend Google will also give you another definition. But the one that sits well with me is the fact that you allocate funds to something. So which means you already know what is it that's going to be happening in your mind. You then decide to allocate funds. So we are going to be dealing with that as to how do you find out that you are now over budget or you're below budget. So I instantly, when I'm broke, I'm over budget. I'm not necessarily that I'm broke. I'm just over budget, which means I've already used those funds. But let's go back. Let's do this thing the right way, the way we're supposed to be doing. We already defined that budget, it is allocation of funds. So as a person who's struggling with budget, or as a person who does not know how to budget, or you do not know where you're spending, because we get a lot of people who are saying they're spending their money, but they have no idea where that money actually went on. So I'm going to task you, or rather I'm going to give you tips and ideas, or the things that you should do to find out exactly what are you spending your money on and how to budget properly. The first thing that you need to do is go to your bank, request your 3 months bank statement. Now, there I'm teaching you a habit of saying you should check your bank statement each and every month. The reason you do that is because we now live in a digital world where most of the transactions we do them via our debit cards. So your bank statement will then record everything. Now, when you get to that habit of saying every month I get my bank statement, I check each and every cent that I get. Yeah, you're gonna come across people who are gonna tell you stories that when you are stingy and everything. But if you exactly are like me, you don't suffer from Bazo Chinabantu syndrome, you wouldn't give a damn about what they're saying because you know exactly what you're doing. And believe you me, the same people who are telling you that when you are stingy and everything because you are taking care of each and every cent that comes out from your bank are the same people who are gonna come back to you and say, can you please borrow me money because currently I do not have. And when because you are actually keeping track of your money, you'll be in a better place. So what you do is that you get your 3 months bank statement, you sit down with the highlighter. If you are married, do this with your spouse. If you are cohabiting, also do that with your spouse. If you are in a committed relationship, I would suggest that you also call your boyfriend or your girlfriend in and say, let's do this budgeting together. So you're going to be going through your budget with the highlighter. What you are doing there is actually you are finding out where your money goes. I understand that when you are in debt, usually you don't want to look at your bank statement or your credit card statement because it just overwhelms you and like, I have too many debts. But it helps when you go through these things because you know this is what I'm spending or this is what I spent on my food, or this is what I spent on my fuel, this is what I spent on my rent. So by going through your bank statement, you're going to be highlighting for the past 3 months, this is what you have been spending. What you are actually doing there is that you are actually you are actually identifying the things that are actually taking your money. So the second step from there will then be saying group those things from asset to what is this thing? Your asset to liabilities or expenses. Either one of those. Assets. No, not assets and liabilities. What the oh my God. Remove the F word. I didn't mean to say that. But yeah, what you're going to be doing actually is classifying them according to wants and needs. Oh, I'm thinking of accounting instead of economics here. So it's supposed to be needs and wants. So forgive me for my language there. So you're going to be separating them according to your needs and your wants. So from there, that's step number 2. So now you know what is it that you need on a monthly basis, so things that you cannot live without on a monthly basis. And then wants are things that you can live with that, but because you are papa, you go ahead and then you misuse your money on those things. So like going to a restaurant, while you have any debt, cut restaurants are out for as long as you owe people. There's no need for you to be eating Kuma restaurant. Use that money to pay off your debt. Just teach yourself some discipline. So let's continue there. So you already know these are your wants, these are your needs. Really? We're still doing budget. So your wants and your needs. So within your needs, you know the things that are considered essential. The things that you really, really cannot live without. Other things, there are things that people put under needs, and you can just tell from when you are helping them with their budget that this is not a need. This is a want. So you also need to have those things where you know which this is what you are doing. So once you know your needs and your want, you then start to draft your budget, which means you are now doing that allocation of money we were talking about as we define budget. You are now allocating. You write down everything that you consider as a need down. Then you know which these are my needs, and then you start allocating. So the most powerful asset that you can have when you are doing a budget is an income. So it is important to know then how much money are you making or how much money are you getting. There are people who get paid twice a month, so they usually do 2 budgets. There are people who get 3 times. There are people who get just 1 salary or 1 paycheck. So you budget according to that. So you already know how much money you are earning. You take that amount of money that you are earning. Now, if you can remember from our first video when talking about savings, we're saying I take 15% of my money because I pay myself first. So within that budget, or between that salary, the first amount of money that's going to come out from that paycheck that came in would be the money that I pay myself. So my Putalienzega will then get that 15%. So I'm allocating funds according to that. I write everything, Putalienzega, rental, car payments, all those things. I list them down, and then I start allocating with it. From this amount of money, this is what's going to happen. This amount of money, this is what's going to happen. Now, if most of your transactions, they come from your bank directly, you also need to budget for bank charges. So when you go through your bank statement, you're going to be seeing all those bank charges. They're around R5.95. Settle them, calculate them with that. Last month, how much bank charges did I pay? Some banks, some smart banks, they will tell you how much bank charges you had on the previous month. Others, they're not going to tell you, so you just have to find out yourself. So when you do that, you know which this month, this is how much I'm budgeting for cash transaction, for my bank charges or my debit card transaction. But then there's also another way. If you know which when you don't like doing payments with your card, we do what we call a cash envelope. So you withdraw the entire funds. Let's say you're getting paid 5,000 rand. You withdraw the entire 5,000 rand. You come back with it in your house. You sit down with your spouse. You start doing that budgeting. You then have envelopes. In those envelopes, you're going to allocate funds. That one is the most disciplined method I've ever seen in my life, because when you run out of those funds that are in that envelope, that's it. You're done. So if you put in 500, and we also need to tell people that when you budget for food, possibilities are always that you're going to spend more than what you budgeted for. So, but when you go back to that, so when you put in 500 into your envelope and say this is for grocery, there's a difference between buying grocery with a debit card and with the cash envelope. When you're using the cash envelope, once you reach the limit, you'll be the one telling the cashier, let's take this one back because we're already over budget. But when you're using a debit card and you know that there's some amount of money that is still in the debit card, you will still be like, continue swipe. Because in your mind, you'll be like, I'm still going to be able to pay back that money. So the cash envelope, it is more disciplined than the one. So it requires some people who do not have discipline, because that one will force you to have that discipline. You allocate that money in those envelopes. You say this one is for this, and this is for this, this is for this. So you already know. So just like in the olden days when people were being paid with the envelope at the end of the month, it's the same method. But if that one is not for you, you stick to your debit card. So in your debit card, always ensure that your bank charges, you do budget for them. Now, there are so many methods that you can use to do your budgeting. There's actually 3. That's why I'm saying there are so many. So the first one is known as an Excel spreadsheet. I've created one for myself. I'll also link it to our page. If you are watching this video from our YouTube page, you're going to find it there. It's an Excel spreadsheet that I created. And also, if that one doesn't work for you, your Microsoft Word, your Microsoft Excel, they have one. What's the one that they're using at I think it's Pages for Mac. Yeah, for Mac, Pages. Pages also has one. You can also check it there. That one that you can use. If those ones do not work for you, you can download the app. There is a lot of apps that help people to budget. The one that I like is called Every Dollar Counts. Yeah, it's Every Dollar Counts. I think it's done by Ramsley. So Every Dollar Counts is also another one that's going to help you learn how to budget. And the last one is When You Write It down the old school way. So just like your mom used to do. I think you've noticed that, not that I'm being somehow, but there's a difference between groceries that are bought by a guy and groceries that are bought by a woman. A guy just goes to the shop, he buys with using his mind. He will just decide this is what we need. But when a woman or when a female buys groceries, they have a list of the things, so they keep on ticking them off. So that's the method I'm referring to. So when you do your budget, you can write it down. This is what I'm going to be spending. So when you get your paycheck, you allocate in that list. So it's the old method. It still works. There are other people who prefer it. So if you're not there, you're in the digital area, use those apps. If the apps are not working for you, use the spreadsheet. Those are the 3 methods that you can use to ensure that you are doing your budgeting correct. And all 3 methods are going to tell you if you are off or you are within. And I want you to look at budget as a map, right? A map is a guideline. So in other words, if I were to drive from where I stay to a certain place and I do not know how to get there, I'll put in the direction in the map. The map will then tell me this is the route you're supposed to take, so the fastest route. And then I start driving using that route. But for some reason, I decide to take another off-ramp. It still is, it's going to tell you that you've taken an off-ramp, and it's going to reroute, and it's going to give you another direction. And the nice part is, or rather the sad part is, once it's done rerouting, it's going to give you a route that is longer than the first one that you took, which is exactly what budgeting does. It's going to tell you that this amount, with the amount of money that you have, these are your expenses, or these are the things that you're going to be spending on. Should you then decide to exceed, it's also going to tell you by flashing a rate, boop, boop, you are out of budget. You're now using money that you do not have. I think it's safe to say that no one, absolutely no one, likes to live in debt. And the reason is because of people find themselves in those things. It's also because of that. When it comes to their budgeting, they do not have that discipline. So we're not going to lie to you and say it's going to be easy, just like we mentioned. It's not. The first month, it's going to be hard. And then the second month, you're just going to get used to it. So your budgeting obviously is going to change from month to month. It's not always going to be the same. So whenever you have a goal, you then start to implement it in your budget to say, this is what's going to be happening in the next 6 months. So once you've mastered the skill of budgeting, you then be able to do what we call forecasting budgeting, which means you're budgeting for future things to happen. And we also need to make clear, guys, if something is in your wish list, that is not budgeting. That is just a dream. It's not part of budgeting. Budgeting, you allocate funds. So I know that I need to buy a computer in December. I need to start putting money for it now. I'm not just going to go to take a lot and say wish list and then say, no, I'm budgeting for it. While I'm just sitting and doing absolutely nothing and say, the moment I get money, I'm like, I'm buying a computer, I've been budgeting. No, you are not budgeting for it. When you budget, allocate funds, start working towards those things. Please. So, let us not fight with people. Yo. Guys, it is very much important to understand that all the goals that you want to achieve financially are going to be derived, or the budget is going to help you achieve them. It doesn't make any sense for us to be teaching investments, savings, and all those things if you cannot have control over your money. Because all those things that we are talking about, they fall part of your budget. Paying off debt forms part of your budget because you allocate funds accordingly. So teach yourself that discipline that I need to budget. I need to have. So I'm going to link the apps. I'm going to link the spreadsheet that I was talking about so that you can find it easier for you to budget accordingly. Please. Let's not have some arguments about this thing saying, I do not budget, or I was budgeting for wish listings. That is not budget. That's just something I'm not going to mention. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for being with us today. If you enjoy what we are talking about, give us a thumbs up, turn on those notifications so that you are aware of each time we put in. And please, guys, subscribe. It's just here. Just subscribe so that we can continue to support the channel as it grows. I will see you next time. Bye.